How we doing tonight, Summer Bridge? Oh, I said, how we doing tonight, Summer Bridge? Y'all made it. You're in college. It's here. It's almost your time, right? Everybody give me a hell yeah for that. Yeah. So, thank you so much for having me here. It's such a pleasure to be here, especially at UCSD. I went to UC Davis, which was in a small, like a 15 square mile maybe city just outside of Sacramento. And we have cows, and we have grass, and we have all these amazing things. And I applied to UCSD, I did. I knew about the beach, and I knew about La Jolla, and I knew about your programs, but I didn't get in. I know, but I'm finally here, so yay! Here's what's exciting about being in this position right now, to be able to speak to you, being on the other side of it, is I know something about you and where you are right now. And it's the most exciting thing that you can ever experience in your life. Because right now, today, you're in the best position you've ever been in your entire life to begin creating the life of your dreams. This is about more than just college. This is about where you want to go in your entire life. And today you have the absolute power to do whatever it is that you want to do in your life. Say, I can do anything. You truly can. We come here, we go through high school, we get a little bit concerned, we apply to college, we get in, we get excited, and one of the first things that happen, as soon as we get that letter, as soon as we show up to campus, we start to get nervous, right? We start to worry. And what I know is that there's no need to worry, because y'all are very smart, okay? You got into UCSD. But there's a group of people that's smarter than you. And they're here on campus. Yeah. Sorry, I know that nobody's smarter than you at another college, I get that. But here at UCSD, there's a group of people that's smarter than you. That's the UCSD Admissions Committee. Everybody who looked at your application knows that you can absolutely make it. So when we're talking about you, we're not talking about whether or not you can graduate, whether or not you will graduate. We're wondering how great you will be. Because there's no question that you have the ability to be successful in any way that you want here at UCSD. So you truly can do anything. But you've got to have a plan for that. And sometimes plans are words written down, and sometimes they're spoken out. And today we're going to speak some plans into existence so that you have a guiding post to follow as you are moving through your career as college students. So can you all participate with me in some call and response? You know what that is? Okay, is that a yes? Okay, that's when I say something, then you say something, then I say something. We got that? All right, let's practice. Something. All right, good job, you got it. All right, everybody say, I see it. I believe it. It's mine. Say, I see it. I believe it. It's mine. I see it. I believe it. It's mine. When I think about the college experience and I think about where I've been, these three things really stand out to me as important to remember and as important to employ in building the college career and experience that you're looking for. I see it means you know where you're going, you have a vision for your life, you know what you're trying to create in your college experience. I believe it is your self-confidence, your belief in your ability to get this done. I said I know you can do it, but how many people here are still feeling a little bit out of shape? You know, the classes are a little hard. Y'all have a final tomorrow? Is that right? Is that your first college final? No? This is your second? But it's the last one of Summer Bridge, right? Y'all a little bit nervous about that? Somebody told me, Caliph, hurry up, we got to study. Is that true? You guys happy? But it's belief in your ability to get things done, and then it's also understanding, by owning it, it's understanding that it's already yours, right? Your success, your experience, your graduation, your career, your ideal business, that stuff already belongs to you. All you have to do is claim it now in the next 4 years as you go on to be full-time UCSD students. And I know this to be the case because that's my experience, right? When I got to UC Davis, honestly, I barely know how I got in. I remember getting the email. The email was fairly new back then. And I remember getting it and thinking, oh my God, I'm an Aggie, how exciting. And the first thing I thought is, what do I actually do in college? So can somebody tell me, answer this question for me, what is college? Can somebody just, how about right here? Can somebody just yell out, what is college? Can somebody wake that guy up too? But so can somebody also yell out, your education. A very hard time to challenge somebody else. An opportunity. Everybody say it's the beginning. Say it again with me, it's the beginning. This is the beginning of what you're going to be creating in your life. It's the beginning of everything that you want moving forward. It's the end of your journey, your compulsory journey through education, and it's the beginning of your choice, right? You didn't choose to go to high school, but you chose to come to college. So this is the first time that you've been able to take into your hands the opportunity to create something without having to be influenced by anybody else. It's all on you. Everybody say, it's on me. And we know that you can do it. And so, if you're starting your college career, how do you make the most of it? And I kind of use an analogy as far as building a house. So, can somebody tell me the first thing you do when you're going to build a house? We have some future engineers, architects in here, right? Well, lay the foundation. This gentleman. Make a plan? What's it? The layout. All right, so somebody said foundation, and that's a good answer. But let me ask you, if you try and build a square foundation for a round house, is that going to work? Round, maybe, you're right, you can figure it out. A square foundation for a round house, it's not going to work. So the first thing that you do when you build a house is actually write out the blueprint. It's having the idea of what you want, it's creating the blueprint, it's creating the plan for the house, and then you can lay the foundation. And when you think about where you want to go in your life, where you want to be, what this experience is about, it's got to be something about more than just the foundation. It's got to be about the finished product. Who do you want to be 15 years after graduation? Who do you want to be 20 years after graduation? Are you even thinking that far ahead? Because here's the thing. I know that there will be some challenges that you'll face in college. Did anybody here who went to college, professors, staff, have you all faced some challenges? You faced some challenges in school? Okay, look around, that's everybody. Everybody, and then some dishonest people. Raise your hands anyways, please. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see you. Okay, right, we're all gonna face challenges, right? And you've gotta know what it is that you're working for as you start moving through those challenges that you had in college. And having a vision for where you wanna be is what's gonna help you get there. It's kind of like the North Star, when you look up and you know that, hey, this is the direction that I'm going. So if I see a river or an ocean or whatever, I know that I gotta cross that to get where I'm going. And I know that if you all have a strong enough destination, a strong enough plan for your life of what you want, you can use your 4 years in college building the foundation, right? So for me, like I said, I got to Davis. I was a molecular cell biology major. I really pronunciate that because all I ever did was say it. I never actually participated in any of the classes because I went and did math and science and very soon realized that it wasn't for me. See, I went to school in 2001. And in 2001, we had an event that changed our country forever, however you feel about it, which was 9/11. And I was in the dorms. I was actually in my summer program, the STAT program at UC Davis, when the planes hit the towers. I'll never forget. I was walking up the dorms, walking up the stairs in Tercera, going to breakfast. It's a normal day, right? It's just Tuesday or whatever day it was, and I felt pretty good about life. And I'm walking up, and I see these towers, and then I see a plane hit it. And I'm thinking to myself, is this a new Die Hard movie? Why are they playing it so early? What's going on? It really felt like fiction. Kind of like the election in 2016, right? I was like, no, this can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real. But it was. And very soon after that, our country started doing some things that I would describe as irrational and uncalled for. They started rounding up brown people, Muslims specifically. And there was this time where on campus we kind of got scared because everybody came together after that event and we said, okay, what do we do as a campus to start trying to heal? What do we do as a campus to understand? But that went on into our first year. And my roommate was Muslim and he was from Pakistan. And we had a conversation one day where we realized that under the laws of the United States at the time would have allowed for somebody to just come in and with no probable cause, grab that guy and take him away. I'm just like, that's unbelievable. So while I was in science and math or Chem 2A and Chem 2B, I was thinking about Raheel. And I was thinking about this country and what it was going through. And I also had the ability to take sociology classes. And when I was in sociology and poli-sci, I was so excited. I was so excited. That's what I loved. I just loved talking, arguing. I mean, I'm an attorney now, so it kind of worked out, but that's what I loved. And I thought to myself, why would I do something that I don't really enjoy, that I'm not getting a lot out of, instead of doing something that I love and that I talk about outside of class? So I made the decision to change my major to poli-sci and sociology. From there, I was recruited by some of my summer bridge friends, which was Steph at UC Davis, to run for ASUCD Senate. So I didn't know much about politics, but I knew that things needed to change. And I knew that at the time, they were trying to cut funding for programs like MESA, EOP, and Puente. Even in here from MESA, EOP, Puente programs, all these programs they were trying to cut. And those are the programs that bring us to these campuses. I knew that was a problem. At the same time, they were trying to stop collecting racial data in education. And I knew that was a problem. 209 was a big problem, but not even tracking where we were, that was a big problem. So I started taking action on that. And I got involved in Senate, I won that election, and I was able to make a really big impact on campus. But one of the things I learned is that I had a special set of talents and abilities, and that was communication and connection. All of you have a very special set of talents and abilities, and your vision, where you're going to go, what you're going to accomplish in your life, is directly connected to what you're already naturally good at, and the skills that you can develop here in college. See, I had that ability my entire life, I just didn't know what to do with it. I didn't have an understanding that that was valuable. And what I know is that each and every one of you, outside of what you do academically, we know you're great, okay? But you have some special, unique combination of talents that allows you and only you to live a life that will contribute something to this world that only you can create. And I didn't know what that was at the time. But when I got into Senate and I started to be successful there, I realized it. The ability to influence and impact people is the ability to influence and impact laws, influence and impact change, influence and impact service, whatever it is. Influence and impact is something that I was good at through communication and connection. I got that. So then, I was asked to run for ASUCD president. Now, clearly, I'm black, and at UC Davis, there was 2.3% African. Did I surprise you, bro? You look surprised. He's like, well, is he? What's happening here? UC Davis was 2.3% African American at the time, 2.3%. So we're running in a 23,000 person campus for an organization that has a $10.2 million budget, which is our student government, and it's me and my black self, and then my vice president, who was half black, half Mexican, also male. Had two black presidents in the past, hadn't had one for years, and we ran for this election. And so, you know, we got together, I mean, because I don't know if you know, but student government elections at college, they're very serious. Like, get ready. It's going to be an interesting experience here, I'm sure. Because stuff matters, right? Your campus environment matters, whether you feel welcome matters, the programming matters, where money goes matters, these things matter. And so people took it very seriously. And we got together, we ran our election, and we were able to win with 67% of the vote. 2.3%. Thank you for those of you who clapped. The rest of you, I'll impress you later. So, 67% of the vote, and we were astonished, but we expected it, right? But here's what happened to me, right? I'm the guy who came in trying to be a scientist, or trying to be a doctor, who didn't feel like he had any special talents or abilities, who discovered his talents and abilities for communication and connection, who got into a position that helped me to cultivate and grow that, and then won the highest position on campus, right? And I was just like, well, if I can do this, I'm pretty sure I can do anything. So I asked myself, what's the highest thing that I could go for with this skill? What's the biggest goal that I can set for myself with this skill? Anybody guess what that is? Yeah, president of the United States. I figured if I could win at UC Davis with like 2,000 votes, I could be the president, right? Like, it's the same thing, just on a bigger scale. Now, there's a slight chuckle in the room. I appreciate that and I honor that because it is a stretch, right? But anybody who's ever got anywhere big where they really wanted to be, they had to have some stretch thinking. They had to take something small and decide that they could make something big out of that, right? They had to take a little glimmer of hope and turn it into motivation and commitment and persistence to accomplish something huge. And the problem that so many of us face, not just us as students of color, not just us as UCSD, but us as humans, is that we don't go big enough. And so instead of just thinking about graduation, I want to encourage you to think about something bigger. I want to encourage you to think about the best thing, the greatest thing, the biggest thing you can accomplish in your life. And you do that by asking yourself this question. What would I do if I knew I would not fail? If my success were guaranteed, what would I do with my life? For me, I felt like I could be president easy, no problem, not even work, right? It just seemed like the natural thing. And people thought I was crazy for that. That's fine. I'm a little off, okay? But I still believe it. And when I graduated from UC Davis, I had a stellar career moving forward. I went and worked got a fellowship at the California State Senate, and then I went to DC for another fellowship. Then I came back to work on our mayor's campaign in Sacramento. Then I worked in the California State Assembly. Then I went to law school at UCLA, got a specialization in critical race studies and public interest law and policy. Then I went and passed the bar the first time. Then I came out and got my, thank you. It was hard work, it was. Then I came out and got a job that I loved, working in the black community in Sacramento, doing advocacy work. Then I got another job as the legislation and public policy director at a national nonprofit. Then I started my own lobbying firm, representing my own clients, representing Children's Defense Fund, California Public Defenders Association, and a bunch of other nonprofits doing social justice and educational equity work. Now let me ask you, if I wanted to be the president, am I building an okay resume? Am I serving people? Now, I might change my mind. In fact, the fact that I'm here means I kind of have, but that's not the point. The point is that having that big vision, knowing where I wanted to go, allowed me to execute a path during and after college that will ultimately take me towards that goal. If I still want it, it's there for me, I just know that. If I want to go back into politics, that's cool. But I made a decision to serve at a deeper level, which is to serve people directly. So the first thing I want to encourage you to do is to have that big vision. Everybody say, I see it. It's to have that big vision that you see. Is to sit down after your finals tomorrow and during the weeks that you have off and think, if I had my ideal life, if I was able to create whatever I wanted, what would I do? What would I do? What would I do if I knew I would not fail? And the next thing, everybody say, I believe it. I believe it. So believing it is about actually building that dialogue inside of you that says that I can. So we all have a dialogue happening in our minds all the time, right? Do y'all hear it right now? It's saying, shut up, Caliph. Y'all hear that? But there's something going on all the time, right? And did you know that 75% of our self-talk is negative? 75%. That means 3/4 of the time, you're beating yourself down. 25% of the time, you're trying to build yourself up. But for us, as students who are going to be going through college, some of us are first-generation students, others of us just people who are going to have challenging experiences, it's so important to cultivate that belief that you can do it. That belief that you can do it. And that requires you to use language in your mind that encourages you to keep moving forward. Because as you face these challenges, people will say things to you about your ability. You know, even your, unfortunately, even sometimes your family and that kind of stuff will say, oh, you know, I know it's hard, you want to stick it out, and people will introduce doubt into your mind. Sometimes counselors, unfortunately, and I don't know about UCSD, but at some other schools, when they deal with students of color, they're more likely, sometimes, to suggest taking a break, or maybe going somewhere else and downgrading. And it's like, no, your commitment has to be to excellence here, and you'll have to know that you're capable of achieving whatever it is that you want here at UCSD. And the reason that this is so important for me is because of the roadblocks that I hit. So I mentioned that I was ASUCD president, I had all these successes and everything was great, but one of the major things that happened to me during college is that my first day of college, my last day of my 4th year, because of my presidency put me on the 5-year plan. So my last day of my 4th year, called my mom after my final, said, hey mom, I'll be home tomorrow, I'm hanging out with my friends, it's college, we're partying, cool. And see you tomorrow. The next day, I'm at my girlfriend's house, it's her birthday, hanging out with all my friends, and I got a phone call from my stepdad. I don't like my stepdad, and we don't talk. So the call was kind of a surprise. And what happened is he said, Caliph, I'm sorry to tell you, but your mom just passed away. And I love my mom, right? That's my mom, that's my best friend, and it was the best year of my life. I found myself, I became the president, and then today, everything changed. And at that moment, outside of just being crushed by the loss, I had to decide if I was going to go on, right? If I was going to keep moving. And the beautiful thing about it is that my mom gave me a gift right before she left. See, she was so upset that I changed my major. I mean, she yelled at me. She was just like, Caliph, you're supposed to be a doctor. I told all my friends you're going to be a doctor. You went to the A's to be a doctor. Doctors make a lot of money. Caliph, you're supposed to be a doctor. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, cool, Mom. No, I found something better. And she came to my swearing in. And when she came to my swearing in as president, I gave a very, very short speech. A couple weeks later, she called me up and she said, Caliph, I believe it. I said, believe what? She said, I believe you can be the president. I said, Mom, I am the president. Hi. Like, what are you talking about? She says, no, son, I believe you can be the president of the United States. I can see it. And having that gift from her cultivated in me a greater level of belief that this was something that I could do, something that was for me, right? And I wasn't so much just thinking about being the president, I was thinking about who I could serve in that position. See, I got into activism because of the students around me and the unfairness in the system. I got into activism because I knew that things could be better. When I think about the presidency, I just feel like that's just a big place for me to infiltrate the system and start to make changes. So when she said that, it wasn't about just me and my college experience. It was about me understanding that I have the ability to impact the world, that I believe I can impact the world. And so that belief allowed me to walk through college understanding that there was something out there for me, that my mom believed in me, I believed in myself, and I talked myself into it every single day. So 2 weeks later, I got a call from the Capitol. I was supposed to go to an internship there. They said, hey, we know your mom passed away, but you got to come to work. So before I was done mourning, I was back in the office working. I went back to campus, and I had all these events planned, and I said, how am I going to do this? And I said, I'm not going to let this crush me. I know there's something out there for me, right? I believe I can do it, and therefore nothing is going to stop me. So instead of letting her life cause the end of my life, I turned my life around to live for her and to accomplish those things that I planned to accomplish, that she believed that I can accomplish in my life. And that level of belief, folks, that level of commitment to your goals, it's what's going to be required. Hopefully none of you lose a parent, but some people will have complete and absolute breakdowns over one bad test. Like, college is over, I failed this exam. One bad thing happened. Oh, I didn't get the class that I want, right? There's so much pressure on us, right? That when we hit these little roadblocks, these little challenges, sometimes we just want to give up. Is there anybody at some point during their applications, they just want to put them down and say, never mind? Like, okay, look at y'all. Okay, I wasn't even sure if they were going to say yes to that, but good, yeah. But you did it, right? You did it. When you're studying for the SAT, were there times you said, I can't do this. This might not be for me. But you took it, and you're here. We've all faced these challenges before, but they're magnified in the college environment because you're out here on your own. It feels like you're on your own, right? But in reality, you got 295 family members right here who are here to support you, right? So I lost my mom, but I had my family at Davis. I had people who supported me. And for that reason, I had everything I needed to continue to be successful. And even though more difficult things happened during that time, we all rallied together. I've seen people go from academic probation to almost valedictorian in their times, right? So there's so much opportunity for you to bounce back, again and again and again. Hopefully you don't face any challenges, right? But in order, you have to understand your ability to achieve. Therefore, when you do hit those challenges, you'll bounce back and keep moving. Everybody say, I believe it.
I believe it.
And then the last thing is understanding that this place right here, UCSD, whatever your dream is, this is meant for you. It's already yours. There's nobody who can take away the opportunity for you to be successful here in college. Not a single person. Well, of course, there's one. And it's you. You're the only person who can get in your life, right? So understanding that there is a bigger purpose to what you're doing here, something that was here before you were born, before you got to college, something that was inborn in you just because you're here on this planet, living, breathing, and giving something back, right? So when I think about this idea, I used to think it was selfish. I had this dream, right? Not to be the president, but after I started my lobbying firm, it was, I guess I'm really indecisive because I started that and then immediately I was like, I don't think this is for me. Because I enjoyed the work a little bit, but I didn't like being in the Capitol all the time. I didn't like wearing a suit all the time. There were another type of life that I wanted to live. I'd been so serious for so many years, and especially with my mom passing away, those next 10 years were extreme, right? I didn't really relax, and I said, I take it on a challenge that requires everything that I've got and more, and it's not fun. And so I started to figure out, how do I get motivated? How can I start to dream bigger about my business? I've already accomplished something great. How do I get motivated? So I started to think about the fact that I started to get introduced to personal development. So I started watching motivational speakers all the time. And I was watching these speakers, and I was like, oh, these guys are good, make me feel good, make me feel like I can be successful, make a lot of money, do whatever I want. I said, be successful, make a lot of money, do whatever I want. And I thought, what do I want? What do I want? I mean, I've got this is good, I'm glad I accomplished it. But is there something else more that I want? And I realized that I had a very simple dream. I just wanted to live at the beach and surf a lot. That's all. I thought that was a selfish thing to want. I thought it was very selfish, but when I stepped back, I said, how do I create that life, right? How do I create that life? And what it required of me was not to be a better lawyer, it was not to move down here and do something, but it was to have a completely different style of life than the one that I was living. And as I was watching these guys speak, and I was thinking about the fact that I can speak, and I was watching these guys make money, and I was thinking about the fact that I kind of need some money, and I was watching these guys travel and be all these places. I was like, I want to travel and be all these places. And I said, wait, oh, that's it. I'm supposed to do that. I'm supposed to speak. In the last 3 years, I've gone from having a lobbying firm and being a full-time lawyer to being a full-time speaker. And it was just a decision that I made about what I wanted from my life. But what's important about that is not that it's selfish for me to live in Ocean Beach and surf every day. That's actually awesome. What it is that thing that you want requires you to serve so many people. So when you think about your success in life and the dreams that you want, sometimes we say, oh, I don't want that, it's going to be too hard. And maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe that's not for me, right? But what we don't realize is that there's somebody out there right now waiting on you to live your dream so that they can live theirs. There's a greatness in you that awaits to be revealed. And when you reveal that, you allow others to do the same thing. I've had to do so much work, do so many speeches, help so many people in order to get to where I am today. So even though it's my pleasure to be doing what I'm doing and to be living where I live, it was service that got me there. So as you think about the fact that you own it, right, that this is yours and nobody can take it from you, I want you to think more than about yourself and your academic career and where you want to go. But I want to think about the people who you're going to impact by doing what it is that you were born to do. Where are my doctors at? Where are my doctors at? You got lives to save, right? Where are my engineers at? You got bridges to build? I don't know. Everybody here has something to give when they get there, okay? Everybody here has something to give on their way there, wherever that is for you. It's all about what you're giving out to society, what you're giving to people, your contribution. And everybody that's brought you here, like I used to work in an organization called Reality Changers, and they can, oh, y'all know about Reality Changers? This is my time to shout out Martha. Shout out. Thank you. Okay. I thought I could make it smoother than that, but then I thought, oh, let's put you on the spot. So, they were integral in developing people, right? And I would say to them, I said, you know, every day we wake up, every day that we wake up, all we think about is you, right? There's been somebody that every day they've woken up, in fact, the people in this room, every day they wake up, did you get some, maybe she never even got some sleep, but every day she woke up, she thought about you, she thought about serving you, how to make Summer Bridge better, how to make sure you're successful, how to make sure that you can matriculate into UCSD and be excellent students. Somebody put their whole life into that, right? And that's why you're sitting here right now. You're sitting inside of somebody owning their purpose, right? And y'all got that too. So somewhere right now, there's somebody waiting for you to be your greatest. And that's why it's so important that you take this experience seriously and that you come out of the gate fast. Because there's some urgency with what you got going on. You got your first final tomorrow, right? Then you got a break. Then you start the quarter system. Ooh. Yeah. It's going to be fast, right? And a lot of the people that trip up, they trip up early before they have momentum, right? Like if you guys think about, if y'all think about a bicycle, does everybody here know about a bike? A little bit, okay? Turn some pedals, okay. So, when you get on the bike, when you just get on the bike, if somebody comes to push you over, like when you just put your feet on the pedals, what's gonna happen? You're gonna fall. Okay, what about when you get on the bike, you've got some momentum, then somebody comes up and taps you, what's gonna happen? Nothing. Because you got the momentum, you got the balance, you got the speed, they can't knock you over. Right? So as you begin your career here in college, the most important thing is to start off fast. And that doesn't mean start off frantic, okay? It means start off focused and know that your academics are the number one thing that's going to take you to the next level. The number one thing, right? There's a lot to do in college, right? But getting your academics down first quarter, focusing 100% on that, I mean, there's involvement you can do, go to some clubs, go to some meetings, whatever, but get those straight A's. Everybody say straight A's. So the best way to start college is with straight A's. And I know, I hear the snickering already, it's always so exciting to hear. What I know is that all of you have the ability to do that. It's really simple. Do you want to know the secret? Anybody want to know the secret? You guys have to want to know the secret or I'm not going to say it. You want to know the secret? Okay, it's very simple. It's very simple. Let me break it down for you. Read the syllabus. That's one. Okay? Do the work. Okay? All of it. Not shortcuts, all of it. Okay? Talk to your professors. That's 3 things. Learn from your mistakes. That's all you gotta do. Like, they're gonna give you the path. Nobody's trying to hide the ball here. Nobody wants you to not be successful here. Everybody wants you to succeed. So the number one thing you have to do is basically do that basic stuff in the classroom that's gonna help you be successful. The next thing is, everybody say, ask for help. Ask for help. So, you know, we're at this huge campus, number 2 in the world for STEM or something. Somebody was bragging to me earlier. Whatever, it's a dope place to be, okay? It's a great place, okay? They didn't get here by not having the resources necessary to help students be successful, okay? So you might feel like you're lost in this big environment, in this big campus, and you have your folks here, but sometimes you can just get lonely when you're not able to figure it out, when it's not working for you, when you're by yourself in the library and it's just not clicking for you. Look, there's nothing wrong with struggling as a college student. In fact, that's part of the journey. That's part of the experience, is learning how to get through those struggles. But the one problem, the one thing you can do wrong is just go through that by yourself. Is not turn and ask somebody for help. Study partner, anybody. But it's finding those resources, right? There's tutoring on campus. There's counseling on campus, right? There's all of these things on campus to support you. So one of the first things I would do, and I'm not sure if y'all have already done this, but it's like, check out everything. Go everywhere. Figure out what's everything, every door that's open to me that I can go into, right? Financial aid, your tutoring centers, kick it in Oasis, whatever it is. But find your resources quickly so that you know where to turn when you do need help. Now, the interesting thing about academics is that, how many people are first gen here? First gen. Woo! That's exciting. Give yourself a round of applause. First gen. So one of the interesting things about this is that we are in this new academic environment. We're in college. It's so exciting, right? But our parents are at home and they miss us. They just want to call, hey, what are you doing? Studying. Still? There is a disconnect that you'll experience. Number one is just missing home and knowing that your parents miss you, right? That's a challenge that we often face as well. I was talking to a parent the other day, made me feel so bad. Thankfully, I did see my mom a lot. So, you know, even though that last couple months wasn't great, but I did see her a lot when I was in college. But I felt like such a jerk the other day because I was with these parents and I was with my neighbor, and she said, oh, when Kitty left to college, I was a wreck for a whole year. She said, he was with me for 17 years, every single day, and then suddenly he's gone, and I didn't know what to do. I just kind of sat there, thought about him, called him, he didn't answer. It's important to stay in touch with your parents, but it's also important to set expectations about what your academic needs are, and so that they understand what you're doing here, right? Keep them involved, keep them engaged, okay? Definitely don't turn your back on your parents, because there may be a time where you just feel like you're just too busy, right? So make a plan to stay in touch with your parents, but also be clear with them about what you're doing academically. This is how much effort this requires. And sometimes they don't understand. The first time I ever lobbied, I was with Cruz Reynoso, who was the chief deputy of the California Supreme Court at the time. Chief deputy of the California Supreme Court, Latino, right? And I'm sitting next to Cruz, and he's telling me about his time in college. And he said, the weirdest thing happened. He said, my parents would call me, and I'd be telling them I want to study, and they'd say, but we need help in the fields. He'd be like, Mom, I get it, but like, seriously, this takes a lot of work. They'd say, you know, just come home. So he was going home to help in the fields, and also doing his college work. And he became the Chief Justice of the California Supreme Court. But his parents didn't really understand, right? So it's on us to keep that relationship going so that we don't get homesick, so we don't want to leave. We understand that our parents are always there for us, but also to keep the work going here, right? To keep it pushing. And to not let distractions get in our way, because we want our desires to become our destiny, not our distractions. And there's a lot of distractions that are going to be here on campus, y'all. As soon as it gets going, it does not look like this. There's going to be some shock. There's going to be some culture shock as soon as everybody else shows up, right? There's going to be all these challenges, all these distractions, all these things to do, but it's about keeping 100% focused on your goal, keeping focused not just on graduation, but on that vision that you have for yourself, for your life. It's on continuing to work on that belief that you have in your ability to do it, and owning the fact that for you, your community, your family, the city, the country, the world, it must happen. You were not given a desire to be here because you couldn't do it. You were not given a desire to be great because you couldn't do it. You were given these desires because they're absolutely yours for the taking if you claim them today. So I want to encourage you to move forward with confidence. I want to encourage you to set your standards high, to dream big, to put the time in, to believe in yourself, and to go for your wildest dream. So one more time, let's say it again. I see it. I believe it. It's mine. I see it. I believe it. It's mine. I see it. I believe it. It's mine. Thank you very much.